Every married man needs to see this before everything falls apart. Are you feeling your home crumble from within while you smile for the neighbors? Do you know that feeling of becoming a ghost in your own marriage? Today, you'll discover the brutal mechanics that are corroding your marital foundation and receive the exact protocol to reverse this collapse before it's too late. I'm going to tell you a truth that will hurt more than discovering infidelity. The problem isn't that she stopped loving you. The problem is that she stopped respecting you. And you fed every crumb of that contempt, thinking you were being a good husband. You bought the lie that peace in marriage means avoiding conflict. You believed that always giving in was a sign of maturity. You confused servitude with partnership. The reality is this: the more you give in to avoid a fight, the more she tests you. The more you seek approval, the less she desires you. The more you abandon your life to serve the marriage, the more the marriage crumbles. You are literally loving your relationship to death. Think of your home's concrete foundation, solid, imposing, unshakable. Now imagine water infiltrating through the cracks day after day, month after month, year after year. At first, they're harmless droplets. You don't even notice. But the corrosion is relentless. When you finally see the damage, the structure is already compromised. This is exactly what's happening to your marriage right now. And you are the engineer who stopped doing maintenance. I'm going to name the infiltrations that are destroying your marital foundation. These are 9 patterns of erosion you need to identify today, not tomorrow. First, the invisible boundary test. She questions every decision you make, from the restaurant to the car you're going to buy. It seems like a normal discussion, but it's a constant scanner measuring your firmness. Just yesterday, she probably suggested canceling your soccer game with friends because a trivial commitment came up. You gave in, thinking you were being understanding. She registered that you don't have your own priorities. Second, the total availability trap. You are always ready, always present, always accessible. WhatsApp? Instant reply. She calls? You drop everything. Minor problem? You're the superhero. But listen to this truth. Scarcity generates value. Abundance generates discard. When you're always available, you become a household utility, not a desired partner. Third, the sacrifice of development. You stopped working out because you didn't have time. You dropped that course because you needed to focus on the family. You abandoned your friends because marriage demands dedication. Every hobby you kill is a piece of your identity that rots. And no woman is attracted to an existential zombie. Fourth, the compulsive validator syndrome. Every action of hers needs your applause. She made dinner? You thank her as if it were a royal banquet. She worked today? You praise it as an epic achievement. But when you normalize the extraordinary becomes an obligation, and your validation completely loses its value. Fifth, preemptive disarmament. You detect potential conflict and immediately retreat. Is she annoyed? You apologize preemptively. Tense atmosphere? You take generic blame. You think you're keeping the peace, but you're teaching her that your boundaries are negotiable and your word has no weight. Sixth, financial capitulation. All money decisions go through her approval. You want to buy something for yourself? You need authorization. She wants something? Card released. You've become the provider who asks permission to use his own resources, and that kills any remnant of masculine polarity. Seventh, unbalanced mirroring. She pulls away, you pursue. She complains, you justify. She demands, you provide. But you never mirror her disengagement. You never reciprocate the distance. You never adjust your investment to hers. You are always playing catch-up emotionally. Eighth, sexual surrender. Sex has become emotional scraps that you beg for. You try, she refuses. You insist, she gives in out of pity. You accept crumbs and thank her. Every time you negotiate intimacy, you confirm that you are no longer an object of desire. You are an emotional beggar. Ninth, the death of leadership. You stopped taking initiative, stopped planning, stopped deciding. Everything is, whatever you want, honey. Where should we have dinner? Doesn't matter. What movie to watch? You choose. Where to travel? Whatever you prefer. You think you're being democratic, but you're being cowardly. And cowardice kills attraction faster than baldness and a beer belly. Mark was 42 and 15 years into his marriage when he contacted me. A successful engineer, father of two, house paid off. On the outside, the American dream. Inside, a man watching his wife treat him like a domestic employee with benefits. He gave in on everything, from the color of the wall to the vacation destination, from the car model to the children's school. He thought he was maintaining harmony. He was maintaining his own emotional funeral. The turning point happened the day his wife scheduled a dinner with her parents on the same day as their son's important game. Mark always gave in on these conflicts. This time, he said no, calm, firm, without yelling. He explained that the commitment to his son was a priority and that she could go alone or reschedule. She tested him with tears. He held his ground. She tested him with accusations. He was unshaken. She tested him with a threat to sleep in the living room. He said the bed was big and she could choose where to sleep. Do you know what happened? After 3 days of the cold shoulder, she not only went to the game, but also praised his attitude to her friends. She said that finally, her husband had shown that the children were a priority. The same woman who tried to make him give in was now proud of his firmness. Because deep down, in the primitive core of the female brain, she was testing whether she still had a man or a doormat at home. Peter told me his story at 35. A university professor, married for 8 years. No children yet. He was a talented amateur photographer before marriage. He had exhibitions, sold work, traveled for photo shoots. After marriage, he put his cameras away. The gym where he worked out 6 times a week became a memory. His friends disappeared. He thought this was the natural evolution of a married man. It was programmed identity suicide. His wife complained that he was apathetic, without energy, predictable. Conversations were about bills and routine. Sex was bureaucratic when it existed. She was right. Peter had become a walking shadow. But when he understood the dynamic and went back to the gym, when he picked up his cameras again, when he booked a solo photography trip, something changed. First, she resisted. She complained about the time away, questioned the expense of equipment, made a drama about him changing. Peter stayed the course. 3 months later, the same woman who complained was proudly posting her husband's photos on Instagram. Sex returned with intensity. Conversations came alive. Do you know why? Because she once again had an interesting man at home, not a domestic robot. Charles reached 50 with 22 years of marriage, and a devastating realization. His wife systematically humiliated him in public. She interrupted him when he spoke, corrected irrelevant details, made depreciative jokes about him, and Charles laughed along, thinking he was being mature and good-humored. He was being pathetic. The breaking point was a dinner with important investors. She interrupted him 3 times to correct insignificant dates. On the 4th time, Charles did something he had never done. He gently raised his hand and said, "Honey, let me finish my thought, then you can add to it." The silence at the table was surgical. She turned red. He continued his speech. In the car, on the way back, she exploded. How dare he embarrass her like that? Charles pulled the car over, looked into her eyes and said, "The only person embarrassing anyone there was you, treating me like a child in front of clients. This ends today. Either you respect me in public, or we no longer go out together for professional engagements." Do you know how long it took for her to test that boundary again? 2 weeks. At a barbecue with friends, she started correcting him about a detail of a story. Charles stopped speaking mid-sentence, looked at her, and remained silent. She got the message. It never happened again. And something curious emerged. She started praising him in public, something she hadn't done in a decade. You're reading this, and a part of you is resisting. It's saying this is manipulation, that relationships shouldn't need these tactics, that true love is unconditional. Let me destroy that fantasy now. Unconditional love exists between parents and children. Between romantic partners, love is indeed conditional. Conditioned on mutual respect, maintained attraction, joint growth, preserved polarity. When you give up these conditions in the name of false peace, you are not being noble. You are being negligent with the maintenance of your marriage's foundation. Do you think maintaining boundaries is being a jerk? No, a jerk is someone who disrespects unnecessarily. Maintaining boundaries is having self-respect. And without self-respect, it's impossible to receive respect from others. You don't need to be a tyrant. You need to be solid. You don't need to be aggressive. You need to be assertive. You don't need to be insensitive. You need to be non-negotiable on what matters. But I've already tried, and it didn't work, you're thinking. Of course it didn't work. You tried once, she tested you, you gave in, you proved that your change was temporary theater. Consistency isn't doing it once. It's doing it every time until it becomes the new normal, until she internalizes that this boundary is permanent. It's her problem, not mine. That's the emotional coward's favorite excuse. You don't control her behavior, but you control 100% of your response. And your response trains her behavior. Every time you accept disrespect, you teach that disrespect is acceptable. Every time you give in on an important boundary, you teach that your boundaries are suggestions. I'm going to give you the emergency reconstruction protocol. It's not optional, it's urgent. Every day you delay is more corrosion on the foundation. First step, value mapping. Take 15 minutes now, not later. List 5 of your values that have been buried. 5 things that were non-negotiable before and became bargaining chips. It could be time with friends, sports practice, a personal project, how you spend money, how you raise your children. Identify where you lost yourself. Second step, boundary communication. Choose one of the values you mapped, the most important one. Communicate today that this is non-negotiable again. Don't ask permission. Don't over-justify. Don't make a drama. Just inform. From now on, I'm going back to playing soccer on Thursdays. It's important for my mental and physical health. Period. Third step, activity resurrection. That hobby you killed, resurrect it. At least half an hour a day. Every day. It can be reading, exercise, an instrument, a sport, studying, anything that was yours before you became a marital zombie. It's not about the hobby. It's about you regaining an identity beyond being a provider husband. Fourth step, initiative leadership. Plan something and execute it. A dinner, an outing, a weekend trip. You decide everything, location, time, what she should wear. Take total control of an experience. Show her that the man she married still exists and knows how to lead. Fifth step, strategic mirroring. If she pulls away, don't pursue. If she creates distance, respect it and create your own. If she reduces investment, reduce proportionally. Stop being the emotional dog that always comes back wagging its tail regardless of how it's treated. Sixth step, conscious refusal. Say no to something this week. Something you would normally say yes to avoid conflict. Maintain the no, even under emotional pressure. Prove to yourself that you can hold your position under pressure. Are you going to do this? Or are you going to keep watching your marriage rot? Are you going to apply the protocol? Or are you going to wait for her to ask for a divorce to wake up? Are you going to reclaim your boundaries? Or are you going to accept living as a contract employee in your own home? The hardest truth is this. If you don't change anything, in 6 months, you'll be worse off. In a year, unrecognizable. In 2 years, discarded or living a zombie marriage where you are roommates who share expenses and responsibilities. Every infiltration you ignore today turns into a crack tomorrow. Every ignored crack turns into a hole. Every ignored hole turns into a collapse. And when the structure collapses, there's no reconstruction. Only rubble. But if you act now, today, not next week, something extraordinary happens. She will test your new boundaries. It's guaranteed. She will push to see if it's real or theater. And when you hold your ground, when she realizes that the man she married has resurrected, the entire dynamic changes. Not instantly, not magically, but consistently. Every boundary maintained reconstructs respect. Every initiative taken restores leadership. Every personal activity resumed recovers identity. Every sustained no reaffirms your solidity. You are not doing this to manipulate her. You are doing it to save both of you from a dead marriage. She doesn't want a doormat at home, even if she tests to see if you'll become one. She wants a man, a solid partner, someone she can respect, admire, and desire. The clock is ticking. Every day of inaction is accumulated deterioration. Every moment of cowardice is advanced corrosion. You have 2 choices. Act now and begin reconstruction, or wait a little longer and manage ruins. I know which path the man your wife married would choose. The question is that man still alive inside you, or have you completely buried him? If there's still a spark, a remnant, a fragment of him, today is the day of resurrection. Tomorrow you'll come back here and tell me which of the 6 steps you executed first. Not which one you thought about executing, which one you executed. Because thinking about changing while watching your marriage deteriorate is like planning a renovation while the house is on fire. Your marriage's foundation is compromised. The infiltrations are corroding the structure. You have the precise diagnosis and the action protocol. Now it's pure physics. Either you act against entropy or it wins. There is no third option. There is no middle ground. Either you reconstruct your masculine solidity or accept the complete liquefaction of your identity. Choose now, because your marriage won't wait for you to decide. It's collapsing while you ponder. The man you were is waiting for permission to return. Stop denying that permission. Stop killing who you are to maintain a peace that doesn't exist. Stop funding your own emotional funeral. Get up, look in the mirror, and ask, how much longer will I accept being a ghost in my own home? The answer will determine whether you have a marriage to save or just a divorce to postpone. The protocol is in your hand. The decision is yours. The time is now. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not next year, now. Because every married man needs to see this before everything falls apart. And for you, that moment is exactly now.